And the booster's fuel tanks are being drained to maintain the proper level of fuel prior to tank pressurization, which is coming up momentarily. 2 minutes, 35 seconds until launch. Again, the launch time in Baikonur, 8:38 and 32 seconds a.m. Baikonur time on Thursday morning. And the booster tanks are now being pressurized. We're about 35 seconds or so away from the ground propellant feed being terminated to the Soyuz 2.1A booster. This test flight ready to roll. "90 seconds from launch, everything proceeding on time." T-minus 1 minute and counting. The Soyuz spacecraft MS-14 now on internal power, preparing for the retraction of the first umbilical and the initiation of auto sequence start. You see the retraction of that first umbilical. T-minus 22 seconds and counting. The second umbilical has now retracted. This initiates engine sequence start. We have engine ignition. Turbo pumps up to flight speed and liftoff. Liftoff of the unpiloted Soyuz MS-14 spacecraft on a test flight to pave the way for future crew launches to the International Space Station. The Soyuz spacecraft now arcing out to the northeast, heading for an orbit 51.6 degrees inclined to the International Space Station for a rendezvous and docking early Saturday morning. First stage engines performing nominally according to the blockhouse in Baikonur. "44 seconds into the flight. Good roll, pitch, and yaw program. "50 seconds into the flight, everything proceeding nominally. Yaw, pitch, and roll all reported to be nominal. Good reports from the blockhouse in Baikonur. First stage engines performing as advertised. Beautiful view of the Soyuz MS-14 atop the 2.1A booster, initiating this test flight. One minute, 50 seconds into the flight. Standing by for first stage shutdown. We have staging. And there's a view inside the descent module of the Soyuz MS-14 of the humanoid robot FEDOR. the flag of Russia grasped in his right hand. Two and a half minutes into the flight, everything proceeding normally. We have jettison of the launch shroud. This view now from the upper stage camera, looking back down the longitude of the Soyuz 2.1A booster, approaching the 3-minute mark into the flight, everything proceeding normally. The Soyuz traveling 5,600 miles an hour, 58 miles in altitude, 100 miles downrange from the Baikonur Cosmodrome, heading right down the pike. Second stage engines firing normally, everything looking good. Three and a half minutes into the flight, engines are up and running off of the second stage, looking good. Good vehicle stabilization reported from the blockhouse in Baikonur. Five minutes of powered flight remaining. The vehicle reported to be rock steady and stable. Four minutes, 15 seconds into the flight. Second stage performance is by the book so far, according to the blockhouse in Baikonur. The guidance, navigation, and control system, the performance of the engines, all being evaluated by Russian space officials in this test flight to set the stage for the launch of future crews on this 2.1A booster beginning next March. We have second stage shutdown. Third stage up and running. We have third stage lower skirt jettisoning. Third stage up and running. 3.5 minutes of powered flight remaining on this third stage of the 2.1A booster. Again, this booster has been used since 2015 to launch unpiloted Progress resupply vehicles. This, the first flight of a Soyuz vehicle, a manned vehicle. However, no crew on board today. Now seeing animation based on real-time telemetry coming in from the Russian Mission Control Center in Korolyov outside of Moscow. And back to the live view from an external upper stage camera looking back down the Soyuz 2.1A booster. 6 minutes, 20 seconds into the flight. 2.5 minutes of powered flight remaining. The Soyuz traveling at 12,000 miles an hour, 120 miles in altitude, 587 miles down